Hi, everyone. And finally, I can say once again, welcome to the OLSC Toronto show. How's it going, Jake and Dan?
We are back. We are back. We are back.
Excellent, man. How are you?
Yeah, good thing.
Yeah, doing very well. We've got a bit of a bumper pack show. I mean, I guess considering we haven't been on this for a while, that only makes sense. So I think first things first, how is everyone doing? How was your summer? How is what are your thoughts on the season so far?
Daniel-san?
Just great. For me personally, just great to come back to the club. When I say come back, I mean just see everyone again. It's been just actually really surprising for those who've been at the Elephant and Castle for the first few matches. It's night and day from last season, and obviously the first few games last season weren't the same as they were this time around. But it's just been a pretty cool summer, chill summer. For me, I was doing a lot of things last summer, but this summer a little bit more time. So I'm just happy to be back with the crew and excited to go. As far as the first few games of the season, we all know which game was the highlight. But I'll just turn over to Jake to add a little bit more color from his end.
Summer has been flying by. Time is flying by. I mean, for us, did we really get time off? I think from last season to this season, we just summer planning for the OLSC. We did this. I think we had like 5 minutes off in the summertime. And then we're now into we couldn't wait. Everyone's just pining for the season to start. Season has started, and we are, interesting games, interesting vibes, to say the least. But at least, you know what? It's something to completely look forward to, except for these stupid 2-week international breaks. But at least we're back now, and this coming morning we've got an early game. So excited. Season's back. That's all we wanted.
I am going to ask you for a bit more detail on each of the games. I'll just go round robin with you. But before anything else, let's talk a bit about the transfer business, because, there is obviously there has been a lot of talk of Jude Bellingham and number 6s and all this stuff. So, you know what? Shoot from the hip. Tell us what you think. I would love a grade, number 1. So we obviously have to have the same grade. So let's do it out of 10. So grade the transfer business out of 10, and also give me your thoughts on incomings, outgoings. I just made up a word. Incomings, outgoings, and also what could have been, and your thoughts about that.
I don't have a grade. I have a song. Ooh, I want to dance with Szoboszlai. Yeah, that's
my shirt.
That's my. Oh, is it really? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Man, what a signing he is. I think. Yeah, just every LFC fan, every Red knows what he brings, and what he's done for Hungary in this break as well. Just
fire,
just absolute fire. Hopefully, long may it continue, as Jake would say. Maka, solid player. I really love the pickup of Gravenberch. Like I feel with Klopp's guidance, Pep's guidance, especially Pep Linders. Like I think he will be a revelation again. This is who knows, right? At the end of the day. But for all those Naby haters from last year who or Ox haters and our midfield haters, this is the, so when I say Naby and Ox, they are the outgoings, right? And look, I'm not gonna get into that whole can of worms around Naby and all that, but it is a younger midfield. It is a dynamic midfield. And there was one meme or photo or whatever I saw on X or Twitter, as it's called, that actually overlaid Mascherano, Xabi Alonso, and Stevie G with the 3, and I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, like that actually does piece it all together. If you look at, our 8, Maka 10, and it just jives. So I love the business. Endo as well. Listen, don't sleep on him. I feel there's more to be found there, but just really excited about that. Could we have picked up another center back? Yes. But that's just not our, style to splash 75 mil on like a Garvidal or whatever the heck his name is. Anyway, Jake, what do you think?
First of all, the amount of shit that our own members gave about the transfer window was on just a different level. Whether they're referencing Indie, KFC to whoever, these rumors of nonsense, and nobody knew what was happening, right? Yes, we knew we were courting Jude. That didn't happen. But to take that 130 million, let's say, whatever the case was, 110, 20, 30 million, and to get those 2-3 players is phenomenal. And then these guys are like, oh my God, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. We're last minute changes with like Gravenberch, whatever else. But when he came out in his interview and he said, these mofos have been courting me for time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't. I know that the deal culminated in the end of the window. However, they were doing this conversations for time, and all of these assholes in the world were like, you don't know, you're last minute, you don't know how to run business. Don't get me wrong. We were shitting with the new, like, Michael Edwards, like, replacement as to how this is going to play out. What? Getting the Japanese engine room, the captain, right? Get the Hungarian captain, getting Maka in there, a 21-year-old signing that has technical skills like that, replacing, like, literally 10 of our midfield, Ox, Millie, Hendo, Fab. And Naby, of course, sorry, Naby. That's quality that left out. I don't care what you say, quality that left. And then we got quality in. And I think, knock on wood, I don't think we're done yet. I think January transfer window is going to be a new one. Does Andre come in or not? But I do like that.
But Caicedo, but Lavia, but Zaz, what do you think about that?
I would give it an 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. And to be honest, history may even remember it as a 10 out of 10. I know for a fact about 2 weeks before the season kicked off, people were comparing us to Man United. People we know were basically like, look down the road at what those guys are doing. Same thing with Arsenal. Now, Arsenal got a really good pickup in Rice, but he was expensive. Yeah. Like, do you want to pay that kind of money? Like, great player, but like, do you want to pay? Do we even have that kind of money? But then the other thing is Kai Havertz. Like, what a weird transfer period. And also, if anybody, I don't think anyone from any team is watching this, but if they are, great. But if any fan is watching this that isn't Liverpool fans, why are your team lining Chelsea's coffers and letting them abide by FFP? Like, Mason Mount is the Man United star signing, and they gave him the number 7, right? Yeah. And then Arsenal get them out of jail with Kai Havertz. Why? And everyone's talking about, Saudi Arabia, Chelsea are in bed with the Premier League. Like, who the hell? Why are they buying Kai Havertz, Arsenal? Why are United paying that much money for Mason Mount, which lets Chelsea then go and do all this stuff? Anyway, yeah, I digressed a bunch of times.
Those inter-transfer, like, top teams doing that to each other. Yeah, that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
We're giving.
No, honestly, the reason
is garbage.
Yeah.
Absolutely garbage.
Yeah. And then our fans, whether it's the unofficial LFC WhatsApp group, or you go on Twitter or anything, they're using these teams as an example. Yeah. Like, people are talking to us about Chelsea. They're like telling us about, like, oh, well, Chelsea don't mess around. Chelsea just wasted £1 billion and you're using them as an example. Arsenal, they're better than us. Like, do you know this year, there's 2 points between us and Arsenal, and we started the year in disaster mode. So think about that, right? Sure, they fell away, but this calendar year, and I know titles aren't given out on calendar year, but this calendar year, there's 2 points difference. So there's Man City, who we're all trying to catch, and then there's the best of the rest. We are the best of the rest. This season will prove that. And our transfer business should be lauded. Not, I get it. Like, it would be really nice to have Jude Bellingham in the squad. It would. He's a baller. He's a great footballer. But would I swap that? Would I have Fabinho, Henderson, and Bellingham? Or would I have Endo, or like Mac and Szoboszlai for sure, Curtis, Endo, Gravenberch, all these options, and then Andre joins as well? It's incomparable. Incomparable.
Assuming Andre joins.
Assuming Andre joins, assuming anyone joins, but you know what? In Jurgen, we trust. Like, we have the best manager, pound for pound, the best manager in the world, probably officially ranked as the second, cool, but pound for pound, when you look at like transfer business, net spend, everything, number one. You know what? Those our owners gave him the keys to the kingdom. I trust him. I trust him.
No shit.
You know,
Apparently Germany does too. So
yeah,
that's
yeah. Anyway, that's it for me. It's 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10. History might even remember it as a better window. But you know what? Do not ever compare what we just did to like Mason Mount and who else? Who else did? Oh, the striker, the Danish striker. You know, and then you got Havertz and
whatever.
yeah, and then you got Havertz and
I hear your point. I mean, just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, I still think that those players that you mentioned, Havertz and Mount and even Højlund and all those guys, I mean, I feel they will come good with the contracts that they are. However, a caveat to that is they won't be consistently good. In my maybe Højlund, but like the other two, they'll have their sort of flash in the pan sort of moments. You know what? He's on, let's say, like a 3 or 4 game or four match, sort of scoring streak or hot streak. But you're right. I think the way that they've shown or started, it's just terrible right now. Like how much will they, sort of put up with that? Who knows? But anyway,
I just don't give a shit about any other team.
No, fair enough. I get it.
I don't care. There's McTominays, and I do not care about these people. I do not.
Yes.
We have such a great. We have holes. We have things. Joe and we're doing. The Virgil red card, blah, 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 whatever. But we're doing very well right now. It was shaky. They just need a minute to gel the middle. Once the gelling really happens, like it's going to be on another level. If you get a full year of these two or three new guys under Klopp, next level.
So last thing about this before we move on from this topic as well. If you're a Liverpool fan, I actually would say develop some healthy relationships with fans of other teams as well, because it gives you some good perspective.
Yeah.
And what you'll realize is every single fan base thinks their squad is incomplete. Even Man City, even the Galactico Real Madrid always used to talk about how they were so much top heavy in attack. Ronaldo, Zidane, Raul, Figo. Everybody used to say that the defense it's backwards. There was even great teams from days gone by where the defense was better than the attack. Every team is a work in progress. Like the perfect team doesn't exist. If the perfect team existed, then they won the treble last year because they won the treble. Like, I don't want to give City any more props, but they won but they didn't win the quad. So like no team has ever been perfect enough to win every single trophy that has been put in front of them. So yeah, 100% we need a centre back. We definitely need a left-sided centre back. The next part of our team that needs the evolution, if not revolution, is the defense. 100%. But like, are we going to do that all in one summer? No. And are we a letdown because we didn't? No. Get behind the team. Get behind Jurgen.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Have a little faith.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so I'm gonna break the 4 games up. You're all gonna get a good one, and you also both might get a one as well. So I'll start with Jake. Chelsea, first game of the season, 1-1. What are your thoughts of that one?
You know what? It was tentative, right? It was just kind of a bit of ebb and flow, and it's a new squad. It was the new match, and again, going against that £1 billion squad, who knew what was going to happen? They had some chances. We had some saves. We've got some chances. We could have put away some things. We didn't. Did we play at times passive? And I don't know. Sometimes I feel at the beginning of the year, what style are we going to play? Before it was just completely like the press would happen. And then now it would kind of be like, okay, we're pressing a little bit, then we're counterattacking, whatever. So what are we going to play and who's going to play? So the front line, who was going to be the starting line? Who was going to be the midfield? And that being the first game was a stern test. I don't care, Chelsea's got 1 million players and they had all their shit, what was happening. But for us to have the first 3 or 4 games the way it has been, and to have those fine results are the results, but have a little bit of competition to see where we are standing from that. And I do like the fact that, from McAllister different because he's played in the Prem, so he understands the rigors of that, right? But for Dom, he doesn't know this, right? He's coming from a different place, and he's going to see the pressure on the ball, the speed, the tactics he needs to be tactical in certain situations. So I completely do. And, I'm always going to love this transfer with Coutinho because we got Allison through that Coutinho transfer, right? And Allison is a fucking godsend. I want him to, like, if I can bring back some kind of time travel and keep him young in this age for like eons and eons, he's gold. Like, there is nobody else I would rather have between the pipes than him, and he's just a champion, and I love him to death. And thank God he's on our team.
We should have. I mean, just to be fair, in terms of the match itself, like, I thought first 20 minutes we were on it. We were right, like, you know, and then we sat off and we were sort of exposed to, like,
invited a little bit
middle, and then like that match really showed, I think, everybody, fans, whatever, watching that, and it was a tough ground, right, obviously, but it really showed the need, or the glaring need, for holding mid, and that's the thought that I think everyone thought going in, and even just like when we would refresh the squad with Fab leaving or Hendo and all that, like, are we gonna basically replicate what we had with Genie, Fab, Hendo? But it feels like this new Klopp 2 or whatever feels a little bit more dynamic, right? I mean, you just seeing like the nice direct nature, and anyway, maybe that's a good segue to the next match.
Okay, I just hope that just quickly, I just hope that when that mid triumphant happens and there is a holding situation, I just want to see McAllister and Dom just go and do their thing. And we haven't had that to the full degree yet. And I'm just,
agreed. But on that, though, Alexis just played holding mid for Argentina and was phenomenal. And we could also have Gravenberch and Szoboszlai being the 2 8s, with McAllister being a 6, and a double pivot with Trent as well. So the options are there. Like, I want Endo to get a proper game, particularly where we're playing with 11 men. Because he's only really played with 10 men so far. But, like, really, like, that's obviously for, like, the bigger teams, you know, like the Cities, the Uniteds, the Arsenals and stuff. Most of the time, even against Aston Villa, who are predicted to be top 6, top 8, I actually just want us to be, like, so ruthless. Keep the ball, keep the ball, keep the ball. That would have Maka in the holding mid with Trent, to be honest. And that's fine. And the cool thing is, you know, props where it's due. What Man City are doing is, once again, they're changing the game, you know, over there. So we're doing our thing with double pivot. They just keep buying players that can carry the ball, you know. So, like, Gvardiol is infamous for being able to carry the ball. All these guys, Kovacic, all these people. So, you know, you always have to keep reinventing yourself. Why not just be ultra attacking unless you're playing one of the big teams? Because bear in mind as well, we ain't even, because we're not in the Champions League, we don't really have a Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, any of that stuff coming. We should have enough to play our game in later rounds of the Europa and just, like, choke people to death with how much we have the ball as well.
Yeah. Exactly. A lot's going to depend on squad rotation, right, with Jurgen, but that's where we can see the dokes and the young lads too. Yeah.
Okay, so Dan, Bournemouth, we conceded first again, but we ultimately won the game. Thoughts on that one?
I don't want to spend too much time on it. I think it was one of those, it was at home. Obviously, the first actually few plays shocked us a bit, and then we just kicked into gear, and the rest is history. I think that's that ruthless nature. I'm not, but again, at home, I think our home form has just been, even during the rough patches, aside from that one stretch of maybe 3 or 4 games, I think it was last season, I think it was, but otherwise, and the injury, whatever season where VVD and others went down. But other than that, like, over the past 5 years, 6 years, our home form is just, like, ridiculous. So I'm not too concerned. But that was just a great demonstration. Good to see the lads out, but another red, card there, and then rescinded and all that. But it did affect the match. Good to see Endo get his debut, I believe, in that match. And anyway, I think that was the most we want to spend on that. Easy.
Jake gets Newcastle.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the fact that, like,
over here.
And when Endo came on, I think he came to the club in, like, literally 5 minutes before the match.
Yeah, I know.
And he was thrown into the fire, right? He didn't do too bad. He didn't know what the hell was going on. He basically, like, what system are we playing? Who's playing where? Whatever else. And he tried, right? And I liked, to your point, 10 men aside or whatever else, I'd like to see what he will do, because I think he's slight, but I think he's very quick and he can get into, positions, whatever else. Let's see how that plays out from that standpoint. But I like to get him, a little bit of time. Newcastle. I mean, it's so I played as a center back growing up, and a decent competitive level, and it's such a bang play from that standpoint. Do I want that to be a red card? No. In my context, like from that piece, it's a man's game. This is a 6'3" guy against a 6'1" guy. A little bit of tap here. Did that warrant it? The positioning where he was not going to take it. I don't think he was going to get another touch. Whatever the case was, I don't think that is. But I do like the fact that, given the fact that we've been through 10 men quite a bit, and the solidity of our team, and we get compact, and then we wait for those chances because we know that they're going to shit the bed at some point in time, and to happen and to pounce on those chances the way we did, completely deflated every Geordie's heart, forever, and
every rival
fan. Those previous contests, those 4-3 contests, all those games that have been highlighted as we've been growing up, and then it's just been like that. And to have another one on top of those ones to be and then everybody who looks at a Liverpool shirt from a Geordie perspective will be like, oh shit, here they are again. 90 whatever else, here they go, and we've snatched it from them. And they just, looking at the despair in the face, was just gold. The pub was on fire. It was just crazy.
Yeah, the kiss and everything, right? No, but I think you really hit it on the head when you said the unity of the squad. The one thing that really impressed me with that, and I think Klopp, a lot of rival fans would say this, and maybe even some Liverpool fans would say that, last season especially, and maybe during that little blip of an injury season, that Klopp can be found out, right? By his tactics and by his changes, and especially the substitutions and who he brings in and when he brings them in. I felt like the subs, and it was somewhat lauded after the match, I think, by pundits and everybody else. But if you really look at the substitutions that happened and the tactical changes, and I don't know if you can glean it from the match, but I found, okay, so the Darwin finishes aside, which were world class, and we want to get into that. And obviously, if he doesn't make those, there's no conversation here. But the way in which we kept that match at 1-0, I thought was really, really, really impressive, because we could have easily capitulated down after Virgil went down. Trent's howler right at the end of the day, he's not playing well. And I want to get to Trent a little bit later in the convo, but that showed a lot of, that warrior spirit, that sort of mentality, monsters, all that kind of stuff. But those kind of things show a lot and build that early camaraderie. And that's what I love about it, that performance. And yes, everyone will obviously harp on the last two finishes in the last 10 minutes. But yeah, that was really cool to see that.
I think it's always interesting when you're able to see a team hang on, hold on, as the season progresses. We're all in our different chats, and I have one particular chat where I know people are probably like, why though? Why do we have to hold on? What? Because I'll always be like, no, this is a really good test. Let's see if we can keep a clean sheet and stuff. I think it's really important to show the kind of character, to quote a Brendanism, that we showed in that game. Yeah, we hung on, there was moments. The biggest thing is, though, the way Jurgen managed 10 men in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, he took Diaz off, who started the game on
that was
fire. I started the season on fire. Diaz has to come off. You got Mo chasing like crazy. This new playmaker Mo, I'm really feeling that as well. The balls he's putting through right now. Obviously, he's done it for Diaz. He's in the Chelsea game. He did it for Nunes. And then, just in stages, just get to 60, get to 70. I'll unleash the beast. What a beast. What a beautiful beast, man. Honestly, Darwin, I just feel like the hate just makes it even better.
Yeah.
Internally and externally. Internally, cool. Externally, people, you got people like Anthony and even Nicholas Pepe and all these people who are as expensive, if not more, but he was he has started the season on fire as well. Go on, Dad.
But can I ask both of you just a serious question here? Okay, so when he signed up until now, so on that period, well, you're on maybe a few games here. In that time, did you ever lose faith in Darwin? Like in the sense that like you didn't think he was at it or worth it or any of that stuff? Like that's what I don't understand with like this whole like narrative around Darwin. It feels very like, I don't know, driven.
I think it's a price play. I think the price. I think
price, but also like maybe it's the Holland thing and way back when they first. But I'm like, why does he get so much of heat?
Like hated on though because he's like he's like a
doesn't finish.
He's an all-star guy. Yeah. Everything, the whole package.
It's our fans are so fickle from that standpoint. They expect the finished article from day one. Now he's coming from a different league, and he had his blood period last year, and he did what he did, and that's what.
Wow, I thought he did really well.
I'm not hitting on that. At least he's a complete. He's got speed. He's got skill. He can hand the ball. He's good from that standpoint. He just doesn't have. He hasn't had that full run of games. And coming in here, he's had headbutts and all kinds of nonsense that he did as well, which didn't, of course, help him. Like he didn't do any justice for himself. However, he like now that with Darwin and our top six, including Cody, whatever else, like his tactical thinking has to be completely different to know that on the 60th minute, I have these people to bring on fresh, right? They can control the play. They've got speed. They've got everything. They move the ball, and like again, that's a very, knock on wood, there's no injuries, and that's a very good luxury to have. But Darwin, he's going to be like he's going like it's the same with the Jota, like whatever else, right? Why are we signing these people, whatever else? And look at these players, right? And they both and some are faster than others to kind of acclimate to the squad. But I have faith in this guy, and it's just beginning. Like he's little, he's young, he's early 20s. We've got a nice younger squad now that he's going to be part of it, which is fantastic.
By the way, on that as well, just have to look down the road at like I guess the benchmark, which is Man City, and like you've got Haaland, cool, you've got Aguero. Other than that, they both players in a very similar situation. Kevin De Bruyne was a Chelsea flop. He went to Wolfsburg, kind of like reinvented himself, came back. He wasn't the Donna. He wasn't like a world-class player.
Yeah.
He was, Bernardo Silva was at Monaco. He wasn't even their star player. All the stuff was about Falcao and stuff at the time. Like Bernardo Silva wasn't their star player. Yeah, exactly. All of these players, like Alvarez, they got from the Argentinian league. Riyad Mahrez, cool. Yeah, he was Leicester's best player, but like he wasn't again like this. It's interesting that if someone else does something like this, I spend on a project and groom the project, we look at that and as a fan base, we're like, oh, like look how smart they are.
Yeah.
And when it's our turn to do it, it's like, oh, this person should be hitting the ground running. Historically, that doesn't happen all the time, and that's okay.
But to be fair, I think that's more speaks to the world-class managers in both of those teams versus the and I don't think it's our own fan base, to be honest with you. I think most of our fan base, I would say like 90-95% are on Darwin's. And I'm not saying our fan base locally. I know there's a couple people in
you're talking about the general Liverpool.
But I'm just saying like the narrative comes from generally rival fans and or pundits, right, at the end of the day, and that's where it comes from. Anyway, I don't want to beat this to death. I will say this though. Those finishes,
phenomenal,
like world class, man, world class,
phenomenal. I'm going to skip a section just because I'm looking at the time, and I want to now put the spotlight firmly on OLSC Toronto. We just spoke for about half an hour about Liverpool, the start of the season, the summer, and everything. But we have a really, really big year planned here at OLSC Toronto. So, let's go. Let's talk about some of the great things.
First of all, the attendance is unreal. No matter which match it is unreal. Okay, so the attendance is great, right? Our promotions are fantastic. We've got breakfast promotions, but We've given away so much cool shit, right?
Yeah.
Signed kits we've given away, coolers we've given away, signed prints we've given away, a ticket to Anfield we've given away. As a fan, however close we could get to the club, we are trying to do, and we are delivering, which is fantastic. Our membership is like skyrocketing. The community is fantastic, and we are just scratching the surface. It's only been the first, month and a bit, and you should see what is coming up for the next several months is like unreal. The things we have planned, it's just fantastic. Our community is just amazing, and it's all the work from Yursap, Izaz, Dan, Reagan, lovely Evie, Samucci, and the volunteers, and it's just fun. It's fabulous. The children come in. Like, we've just got such a great atmosphere, and it's just, you can feel the love. Not to mention, we sincerely do appreciate all the expats, all the people coming to Toronto and finding us. This last couple of weeks, it's been from Malta, it's been from Bermuda, it's been from the States, it's been from the community. And it's just, it's fantastic, and I just love it, right?
That's what we have. Yeah, that's what we have in this community. If you, and I'm, again, if there's any rival fans who watch this, but you could probably look yourself in the mirror and probably not see the equivalent in terms of your own support, because everywhere you speak to, pub owners or folks around the city who are into footy, it's just no comparison in terms of the community we have at LFC Toronto, and long may it continue. I will say a couple of big shout outs to the E&C folks. I mean, Marty and the staff, they're amazing. They've really stepped it up, coming through a lot, as well as the Sly Fox. Just shout out to Jackie and Co there, and Daniel are a massive volunteer over there who makes it out every day or every match from London, as well. So I just want to shout them out because they're really, really great, folks.
I just want to add to that as well. In the last 2 weeks, twice in the last 2 weeks, I've heard somebody say they moved to Toronto in the pandemic and OLSC Toronto is their community.
Yeah. Wow.
And
love it.
Both times it kind of wanted to bring a tear to my eye because, I moved as well. When you move to a different country, finding a community, finding a tribe, finding a family is really difficult. If you come to school, you're made. If you come through work, you're generally made because, your office receives you. They're like, oh, new person in town, let's show them around and stuff. And then you get people who just come from places with no contacts, no friends, no family, and they have to start from scratch. And the fact that our Liverpool community, 5,000 miles away from Anfield, gave people the ability to feel settled in this wonderful city literally makes me emotional. So I have to say, yeah,
absolutely. It speaks to our club though, our
100%.
It's that ethos, right? And you don't find that in a lot of clubs. In fact, probably not in the league that we're in. But you're right. One thing I'm really, really surprised about, and even when I joined years ago, decades ago, which was around the different swath of people from different stations of life, different countries, different everything. I'm like, how is it that we can coexist here in this club with the various sort of mixes and yet outside of the community maybe, and not the same people, there are arguments and there are problems, but when we're there, we're very much a family, and that's what draws me to the club more than anything else. Yes, obviously Darwin scoring 2 and everything else, but at the end of the day, the community itself speaks for itself. So,
absolutely.
I have lifelong friends and that are now family, which is amazing. And just to, the community is all walks of life, as you're saying, right? We've got Dominic, we've got so many different people from all walks of life that are there supporting our cause. And, the amazing thing, which I completely love on top of it, is, as your point, is that they're not just coming to the pub, right, for those matches. They're also spending time away from the pub with each other. They've made their own communities that they're all spending time, and they're helping people settle. New folks are coming in. There's age groups and whatever, and
soccer together.
Yeah, they play everything. This is just fantastic. We're going to have a fantastic year. You don't even know the things.
It's so exciting. So on that, So on that, you want to tease anything, or are we gonna just wait and do it official?
Well, I mean, Dan and I are working on a couple things for the year end, something to do with the water, a few things, whatever else. And then we're also working on a legend coming in. We're trying to figure out this. We may have, a podcast crew come in. Who knows? We might have a singer come over from overseas. There's a lot of stuff.
Tasting? I don't know. Maybe.
We're also going to have another Sly Fox bus trip from Toronto to Burlington, which is on another level. There's just so many things.
There is.
Every month there's like new stuff that's going to happen for everyone. So,
and one other thing, sorry, as you were about to say something, we are also, again, a volunteer group like the LFC Toronto exec.
Oh, we don't get paid.
Oh, no, trust me, we do not. But one thing that we are working hard on, and maybe this throws this message out to folks watching, is working on some additional membership perks. We have a lot of perks that we have, but we want to work more and more to give more and more back. Again, we are members just like everyone else. We're volunteers. We're not paid, like you said, and we do it for the love of the club and the community. So I just want to point that out as well. If anybody has, in their own station in life or whatever else that, want to work with us, let's work together and make our community even more fruitful when it comes to being a part of it. So,
but there is one thing that might be really big that we'll be announcing really soon. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it on the tease. Yeah, I'm going to leave it on the tease.
Man. Absolute tease over here.
Yeah. It's not a person, it's an experience. I'm just gonna leave it over there. Lots and lots to come. This was awesome, fellas, to be back on it, and let's keep this up. Let's keep this rolling. It's gonna be a phenomenal season. You know what? Even bring on Europa. Some of us have had the time of our lives following Liverpool in Europa, all the good things. But yeah, for Jake, for Dan, I'm signing off right now for this week, and you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe. We've got loads of new people. We've got a YouTube show if you're a new member. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff, and we shall see you next week. All the best. Up the road.
Peace.